Here,
Where's Mike?
he's checking.
Mike's not home. that guy's running.
Jake brought
He's
his
running amok.
grandpa today.
Hey
Yeah.
Jake, what's your grandpa's name?
He's I don't know what his name is.
He's very forgetful.
I don't remember. He's out there doing this little gallivanting, whatever. You guys are
Where
funny.
is Jake?
Welcome to the Gold Podcast. You guys are amazing.
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 Oh my gosh. Well, you guys, it smells like food in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I ate
What
some
was it?
chicken. Chicken, rice, vegetables.
Onions. Ugh.
Onions are
Nasty.
They were,
Grilled.
grilled,
Sauteed. Sweated.
sweated.
Sweated onions with bell peppers.
You sweated on the onions.
Mm-hmm. It's good
So
stuff.
gross.
Good stuff.
Yes.
And a Dr. Pepper.
And a hey,
DP.
It's a undefinable some kind of
Do they
cola.
still use prune juice for that?
They never did.
They
It's a
never
Yeah, they
did,
did.
yeah.
And the original Dr. Pepper.
No.
Negative.
No.
That's not negative.
It's a blend of 23 flavors.
right. That's
nobody,
gross.
Nobody knows what 23 flavors those are.
No. These are 23.
It's a secret.
Yeah, you have to look on the periodic table for that.
It's periodically.
Periodically.
And
I
we are
do
joined here with our studio audience.
that.
audience-
Studio audience.
Is it audience? That's the singular version of audience?
I don't think
I
so. We still
believe
have.
you.
It's an audience still.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Audience. What's it? Look up the word audience.
Audience. All right.
That's even a word.
Hey Siri.
So while he's looking that up, what'd you do today, Jared?
Me? Oh, man. Just a lot of research on Oshpod, strapping, and hangers. And
Okay.
And I do
Strapping hangers
straps and hangers. Strap and hangers.
for.
A hospital.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Hospital.
Oshpod. A lot of rules, a lot of regulations, lot of stress.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is.
All right. Sweet. So
What'd you do?
worked. Went
Yeah.
to work. Watched the rain.
Yeah, but you watched. That's what you
go.
did at work. They
Yeah.
paid you to watch the rain.
Yeah.
They said, Josh, we want you to go outside and watch the rain.
I didn't have to go outside. I
Make
was
sure it
standing on
doesn't.
the dock.
You're doing security today.
I was standing on the dock and
Make
watching
sure
the
the rain doesn't come in.
I did.
You stood on the dock and
Yeah.
pretended it was a real dock because it was wet outside,
Right.
and you fished.
Right.
Yeah.
And then some guy from FedEx, he goes, this truck is too small. I don't want to pull up to the dock. The floor is wet.
Yeah.
And so I went outside and I was just stepping on the wet floor.
Nice.
That guy was lame. It's kind of fruity.
And Jacob,
You got
Jake.
fruit. I'm the
So-
fruit. I'm the fruit.
So is it
slayer.
a word?
audience? Yeah, it's a word.
Audient.
No.
Yeah, that's the word.
So the
Definitely
word
not
is
a word.
audience, right?
The word is audience.
No matter
if
Plural
it's
or,
one,
plural
okay.
or singular.
Yes, I knew that.
It's like sheep.
Right. Or fish.
No, fishes.
Fishes.
No, fishes is not a word.
Like octopuses.
Fishes is not a word, Jared.
That's what you think cactuses.
Cacti.
Is it? It's cacti. And it is octopuses. I like saying octopuses.
Hers,
Platypuses?
Because it makes everybody look funny. Too.
hers and hims.
Hippopotamuses.
Mhm.
Yeah. Because it has the word pusses in it. Did
What?
you just say pusses? Octopuses.
Hippopotamuses. I
Hippopo-
want a hippopotamus for Christmas. Remember that song?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What was the movie? That was in the movie.
It wasn't a movie. I don't remember which movie.
No, that was a famous movie. That's a legendary movie.
Legendary.
Well,
so
then if it's a legendary movie, then what is it?
I don't know. I don't know. That's I want a hippopotamus for. Hey Siri,
Hey Siri,
I want a hippopotamus for Christmas.
what movie is that
Look,
from?
you're not listening. Look.
That's why I hate
I want a
Siri.
hippopotamus for Christmas.
Siri sucks. Do you like Siri?
Speaking for myself,
No, but do you like
I'm
it?
partial to all things Apple.
No.
No,
I'm asking the audience if
The
Hey,
audience.
Siri,
the audience.
where did the song "I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas" come
This
from?
guy. Right. You.
Okay, I found
Okay.
this on the web for where did the song "I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas" come from. Check it out.
Check it out.
Oh, you have to
Hey,
look. It's
why are
not
you
going to
re-
tell
You're not
you.
going to read it to me. What if I were driving?
No,
For
she is
goodness
not going to
sakes.
read it to you.
All right, I Want a Hippopotamus is a Christmas novelty. Everybody that's listening to this right now is going, it's
So
it's this movie.
it's that's not justified if it's not gonna tell you what it is from.
It's gonna tell me. It's just a
I'm gonna judge that.
19.
Listen to you.
I'm gonna judge
Throwing in
Siri
keywords.
right now. Siri sucks.
Siri does suck. Hey Siri,
Choking myself.
you suck.
Uh-huh.
That's not nice.
Yeah.
I know.
That is not nice.
I know. This ain't it.
Uh,
Is this one of them Christian podcasts? You guys are mean.
Hey, so have you ever heard people say like only God can judge me now?
Nope.
You've never heard anybody say that.
Yeah, no, I've heard that.
What do you think about that?
I think it's I don't know. What do you think about justice? I mean, justice is a.
Oh,
I mean, it's not
just
just
change the complete
it's not-
question. Change it completely. What do you think about? Well, what do you think
Well, I
about
don't know.
justice? Let's.
Well, when
hey,
people
let
when-
me ask a question.
because somebody's got to judge something. It's got to be based on some innate,
but
understanding of
well,
justice.
but
or
the-
justice.
when I hear people say that, it's like, do you really want him to?
well,
Already? I mean, not yet. I don't.
I think
Right, but even then, it's like, okay, only God can judge you. Yeah, that's true, but do you really want him to?
I think
but
they're
it's not
saying
true.
they're just saying, hey, don't judge me yet. Like,
Right. Well,
let me live my life.
That's what they're saying. Is
Right,
that-
that's what they're saying. But do they even believe in that?
They don't believe in that because they're making judgments themselves
Exactly.
every day. They're only God can judge me.
Well,
Like-
there's
Like you looked in the mirror, dude, and you judged in the morning that your hair was a mess,
Right.
and you fixed your hair.
there's probably different judgment, right? There's the judgment of
Condemnation.
condemnation,
It's probably
like,
what they
which we're
mean.
not to do, right? We're
Right.
not to condemn people.
Right.
What-
And then what else?
and then the judging as like in a way where you'd want to encourage somebody in a different direction or
Admonish.
admonish, almost like help me out here, guys. Help me out here.
Fruit inspecting.
Almost like like a fruit inspect,
Like you're gonna go up to a tree and be like, "Oh, apple tree," and it's like, "Oh, this apple's good, but this
Yeah.
apple's crap."
yeah. So I mean, it's just it's very different than condemning someone, saying, "Hey, you're wrong. You're going to hell, and you suck." But-
Yeah. Well, it's just a weird because judgment has such a wide array of meanings.
hmm
I mean, we're using discernment or judgment
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, I guess judging as discerning, would be
That would be discernment.
discernment. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like
It's a form of judgment.
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's kind of a righteous judgment or what? What do you think?
I think it depends on the conscience of whoever's making those discernments,
Well,
because everybody has different discernment on one particular thing.
so like where we get our laws and what we're able to do, our boundaries, our laws of California, it doesn't really matter what your conscience says. You gotta follow. Like if I'm not gonna wear my seatbelt, I still gotta wear my seatbelt.
Well, that's the thing. Your conscience is different than mine because I wouldn't drive in the diamond lane with only one person in it like myself, but you would.
Right, because I understand the consequence, and if I'm willing to pay for that consequence, I'm willing to do it.
See?
If
That's
you're
that's-
willing to pay for the consequence and divide it by the number of times you've driven in that carpool lane,
Yeah.
cost benefit analysis, my friend.
Right.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that's the difference in discernment. It depends on the
Mhm.
person's conscience.
Like when I play a
So
game.
everybody, if you have one subject or one thing that everybody has to make a decision on, we're all going to make either the same decision or a different decision.
Mhm. Well, because when I play a game, I understand that if I get caught cheating, I lose the game. But if I don't, then I win. If I
Okay.
win by cheating.
Yeah, that's your conscience. Yeah.
Right. So I say, like, if you know the boundaries within which you can play to get away with cheating at a board game.
Say like when you're wrestling and you're wrestling dirty.
Right. Right. If you can get away with, choking them, giving them a bloody nose.
Or
Elbow to the
Elbow to the
to
head.
the
Yeah.
nards.
Mhm.
Right.
Ooh,
Right.
oh,
Hey,
that's a-
that's a risk you're going to take. You
Sure,
could be
sure.
penalized, lose a point. But if you want to do that, you
And you
understand-
get away with it.
and you get away with it, there you go. Good job.
That's- So what would then? So then, if you did that, so let's say, if you did that,
Yeah.
which he probably did.
Now I
once or
never
twice.
did. I always
You
wrestled
fought-
within the rules.
sure,
yes.
with integrity.
Sure, Jared.
The
I
fullest of integrity. for
listen.
sure.
I do not believe that
But
at all.
listen.
One.
Listen, but I'm saying if somebody didn't and they got away with it, that's fine. They can, like, if they're boxing and they're able to throw in a shot that they're not supposed to after the bell rings or something, but they get away with it. Hey, more power to them. They know the boundaries, they know the rules, and they got away with it. And in the end, if it helps them win, all anybody cares about is that they won. Like the football. Oh, they said the Patriots lower
Flatten the ball.
Flatten the ball.
Yeah.
Well, nobody else wanted to flatten the ball. Well, if that's what you think caused them to win, and they won, and they got away with it, well, they're still the champions. They still won.
There's a certain you could flatten balls actually.
There you go.
to
But
some extent.
to some
yeah,
extent, but he was flattening them way too much. More than that extent that he should have.
right. But that's a very, when we look at the laws of California, we look at judges and justice and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Would it be fair if
No.
let's say Tom Brady and Belichick flatten the ball?
Mhm.
They say yes, we flattened the ball, or they prove that they did flatten the ball, and therefore they're sentenced to a lifetime in prison.
Okay, so if you
that's not-
know,
Where's the sense of what's
That's
the
not
justice?
justice.
What would justice be then?
Justice will be, not
Well,
a
it
lifetime
depends.
sentence in
if,
prison.
if you're the one who lost,
Maybe a fine.
if you lost the game, you might be happy with a
no,
lifetime
a
sentence.
fine.
Maybe.
Right? A fine.
What would be a good fine for that would be just?
I mean, obviously, what was it? What game was it when they found? Was it the Super Bowl?
Yes.
It was
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Super
it
Bowl.
was,
Well,
yeah.
take away the Super Bowl from them and leave it clear.
Nobody gets a Super Bowl.
Nobody gets a
It
Super Bowl.
wouldn't go to
the
the
same
people that
way
didn't cheat?
that the Astros were cheating in baseball. They were reading signs. You could read signs, but they had, there's a certain, I guess, length that you can have your video cameras or whatever to read the signs. But they had it close up, and so they were stealing. They got caught, and so do you think they should?
When was that?
When they were playing the Dodgers for the World Series. And
like
and
recently?
other games, yeah.
Oh, see,
A
that's
couple of years ago, a few years. They've been doing it for years.
of course.
And then they get
should.
caught.
They're
And
us-
so what's the justice in that? Should they get the World Series taken away and then leave it blank? Because then what's going to happen? They were playing the New York Yankees, and so what's going to happen? Oh, we could have beat them. And then, we could have beat the Dodgers also. So then you just leave
Right.
it blank.
No, I say
You
let
take
them
away
have
the
it.
World Series and you
Let 'em
leave it
have
blank.
Let 'em
Nothing.
have it.
Nobody.
They
Let 'em
tried a
have
new
it.
strategy.
And they got caught.
They got caught. Oh well, then I guess you're right. Maybe take it away.
Yeah. They got caught.
Yep, take it away.
And then they don't even deny it.
Right
They're like proud about it.
there you go.
Jerks.
I'd be proud too. Just kidding. I
But then what's the sense? Because when somebody says, only God could judge me, I mean, judge them for what?
So okay, now you take a worldview.
Well,
you
yeah.
look
Take
at
the
the
world
world,
views, yes.
and
I like that.
Yeah.
All right.
So do I.
how
I see.
you
Good job,
have-
Jared. Hey, dung that.
Dung.
There you go.
There it is.
Thanks. If you have no belief in God, if I'm talking to someone that has absolutely zero belief in God,
Yes.
they're not going to care what I have to say. They're not going to care about God's judgment. They're not going to care about God's rule, God's law. Right? So it won't matter if I judge them in a biblical sense.
Well, because doesn't everybody has an innate sense of what justice is,
Well, this is the thing.
Right?
For
or no?
well,
I mean, it's
No,
when I think
because-
about that, I don't try to put my rules or whatever. I live my worldview as a believer in Jesus. I'm not going to put my
You have your own.
worldview upon somebody else to scare them off in that type of
But
way.
everybody knows it's not right to steal,
Right. Yes, there is that.
right? I mean,
That-
that's a law.
Well,
There
what
is
if
that
you're-
There is a moral law not to steal, not to kill or murder,
Murder.
not to look at another man's wife. I
Right.
guess, right? Like
Well,
Or covet another man's
Or
wife. I mean, I
covet
can look at
another-
another man's wife.
Right.
There's another man's wife.
that's what I mean.
That would be
So-
very hard to do, not to look at another
but-
man's wife.
I'm not going to put my morals upon somebody else. So when you talk about that,
That's
It's
what I'm
like-
saying. But we had a city, what do you call it? Like a city blog where they'd say, okay, this person did something, and everybody would comment on it. You could share faces or pictures. And there was a city blog that came out that said, this person stole from this gas station. And people were like, oh, leave him alone. He was hungry. So then there you go. You know,
That's like every hip hop artist ever.
like
Before I made it, man, I was selling crack on the street. I had to do what I had to do to support my family.
Standing on a corner straight, slanging rocks.
so there you go. So you have a
Slang
view
rocks.
that would say, "Oh, who cares? Let them. If they're hungry, let them steal. Who cares?
Hey,
It's
look
a
at those
gas
guys over there
station.
slinging
They
rocks.
have plenty of money. Those gas stations. Let them
Okay.
steal from the gas station." But then it's like, wait a second. So then where do you draw the line? Because if I go to your house and steal from you, then is it okay? Because you don't have plenty of like, how much money do you have for it to be okay for me to steal from your house?
You can. I don't know. There's a quantifiable amount. There's there's obviously some amount of money that you could have in your house that would give, let's say, the government permission to allow other people to come into your house to steal what you have.
Is there?
Yeah, there is, because what they're always talking about, and they will talk about during this election cycle as well, is that, hey, these billionaires have enough money. It's time they paid their fair share.
Okay.
Right?
There shouldn't be millionaires.
Fair being,
Billionaires.
a judicial term, meaning, hey, let's do what's judicious, right? It's fair. They should pay their fair share. They shouldn't be able to make billions of dollars. Like, who gets to judge whether or not somebody should be able to make billions of dollars? So if they say they can put a cap on your earning, for sure, at some point, if you have everything that you could possibly earn in your house, they're going to give somebody permission to come in and take it.
Mm-hmm. Which
I don't know.
and who's to say that's fair? So the government gets to say that's fair.
Whoever's
Yeah,
in power gets
whoever's
to
in
So
power.
we
say what's fair.
Here we go. Like we were talking about earlier, in high school and junior high, we all learned about that something came from nothing, and eventually we became from a monkey became a man.
Not just high school. This
a
is
monkey man?
College.
This is
Where's
from
the monkey man right now?
from kindergarten all the way through university. They're teaching us that we're a cosmic accident, that there's really no purpose to life, and we evolved from a lower form, or an amoeba or a monkey, right? The whole time they're telling you this, they're telling you that it's survival of the fittest, the strong survive. That's how we got to where we are, because all the weak sucks died at the hand or at the at some way because they were weak. And yet when you teach me that, and then I go and I kill some dude for driving my car or looking at me funny, I go to jail.
Yeah, that's not fair.
That's not fair.
No way.
I'm
If it's-
doing exactly what you've done.
What
you've
you're telling
trained-
me to
what
do.
you trained me to do,
Right.
and then when I execute your training, you throw me in prison.
Right.
That's not justice.
Nah, that's not justice.
That's not
'Cause
justice at all.
They're weaker. They needed to die. That was a weaker.
Right.
Right,
How-
exactly. That's exactly what he's talking
How
about.
is our
Right.
species going to evolve to the next level if we have all these weak sucks hanging around,
Right.
riding our coattails?
We're going to transfer our consciousness into an AI.
Oh,
There
goodness.
you go. So the
game.
world view
Dude.
doesn't
And
go
then,
along
yeah.
with the laws.
The worldview doesn't go along with the laws, but that's
But there is
Yeah.
a moral law that is universal.
that's
But-
There is a universal moral law, and there is only one lawgiver with that.
there is.
But if you don't believe in that, then what is it?
So
Well,
the
if
whole,
you don't-
so the whole, only God can judge me now. It's like everybody lives according to their own moral standards.
Right.
So then it's like, where is that standard? And then it becomes that whole relativity.
anarchy.
It's that
So,
relativity
yeah.
thing. Like there's no moral absolutes, which there is.
Yeah.
Morals are always absolute because like we said, you can't kill, steal, and all these other things. But then when you talk to someone and they're like, hey, don't only God can judge me now, or whatever, it's like, well, do you feel like I'm judging you according to your standard or my standard?
Or whose standard?
Or
And
whose standard.
Yeah, and whose standard are
Mhm.
you judging me by? Because it's like the Supreme Court in 1973 can say that it's okay to kill a baby in the womb, when science clearly establishes that it's alive. You may not define it as a person because it's not independent, but that's the judgment they throw on us. So when they go, well, how can you be pro-death penalty but be anti-abortion? Like,
Yeah.
well, the baby didn't do anything to deserve death.
Right.
The guy who killed 100 people did.
You had it backwards.
Something like that.
Yeah.
The baby
Pro-abortion compared to
Oh.
anti-execution.
What did I say?
You said the other way. You said pro.
I understood it how you
Yeah,
said
I
it.
understood it, but
your mind is a slippery slope.
I understood it, but yeah, you said
It's a pro thing. It's a
Mhm.
pro
anti-abortion and the other. But yeah,
prophylactic.
Well,
is
I
what
think-
it is.
That's true.
I think if it comes down to it, people like laws, because laws build structure, right? People say they
That's
don't
true.
they don't
Yeah.
want, hey, don't judge me, don't condemn me, don't whatever. They don't want, basically they don't want to be accountable to God. But if you took that same person and put him in a workplace situation and took away all the rules, all the laws, they would not like it. They wouldn't want to be at work.
there would be no work. It would just be like
yeah,
you
it'd
said,
be chaos,
anarchy.
right?
Yeah.
There's, hey, this is the boss, this is the assistant, this is how things come in, this thing, right? There's rules, there's regulations, and they make things flow. The same with the street. You wouldn't want to drive if there was no rules and regulations, right? There's no,
Like Mexico.
yeah. If there was no
Holy crap!
if
You've
there
driven
was-
in Mexico?
absolutely. If there was no laws,
Chaos.
if there was no one saying, hey, this is wrong, if there was no one keeping the laws, people wouldn't like to drive. People would be, it'd be
People-
crazy.
People like that they
Right.
I-
I don't like when people drive on the carpool lane when there's only one person.
shame.
Mhm.
Shame.
There's got to be order.
Sir, there's got to be
Right.
order.
And you don't
Plus-
stick to that order.
Plus, you
I
don't want
don't
to. You don't want to play a game you don't know the rules to.
Right. I know.
Like because if I'm winning right now, and then you're able to come in and just change the rules, so I'm not all of a sudden winning. That's a frustrating game. That's what like little kids do.
I'll still smash you in chess though.
That's like you
Whether-
probably
yeah.
will. I cannot think that far ahead, man. I'm like one spot. Beep. That's it. Yeah.
Jared's beat me a
I'm
couple
not.
times.
I'm not good at chess. Because you think I think too far ahead. I'm not a too far ahead thinker. I'm a right now thinker. That's what gets me in trouble.
boom.
If I could
Yeah,
think
I
ahead,
can tell.
if I could think ahead, I'd be way further along in life. I just go, screw it, man, make the move.
So
And
you're
then,
you're-
no, that wasn't
see?
a good move.
He's judging himself right now,
Yeah,
but in
you
a
have
good
to.
way. But in a good way.
You have to.
Yeah.
Everybody's judging everybody all the time.
Yeah, there's no
so
person that does
It's just
not
a matter
judge.
of what is justice.
with
Right.
the worldview of without God in the picture,
Okay, so
could
an
there
atheist.
would we have in us moral boundary, moral law?
Yes.
moral,
You could.
you think there
you
would
can.
be? Like you look
Well-
at the animal kingdom, would you say there's moral law and justice?
Not for the animal kingdom.
Well, there.
But that's if you're
but
saying
if you're gonna put us in the category of animals,
then that's where we'd have to look.
there
right?
are some species of chimps that have hierarchies.
there are
Mhm.
and they build their own.
And, yeah, and the hierarchy
Houses
and
and
the
stuff like that.
hierarchy is what dictates the rules and the laws. So I mean, at some point,
But
if
listen,
you had a
you're
100
still looking at something created by God.
But if
No,
right,
but
you're
you
saying,
just said there's no
yeah.
God in it,
So if
Yeah.
there's no God in it, you can't look at anything in the world right now as God created,
right?
right? So even the animal kingdom would be completely different.
so what's, so
You know what I
what's-
mean?
What's the question?
Like the bee wouldn't be
So-
accountable to
Jared,
the queen.
so
No,
if you
sir.
say
You know what I
pretend
mean?
there's no God, how do you get justice in the world?
Yeah,
And
you have to take God out of everything.
But then you removed everything from creation
right,
because I'm not allowed to point to anything now.
right. Because what would you? There would be no standard. There'd be no.
Well, there would be a
No,
standard.
listen.
There
What
could
would
be a,
be-
there
what
could
would
be
the
a
standard?
If there was no God, there would be nothing.
If
Right.
there was no God, there would be nothing. But let's pretend let's pretend for the
Let's-
sake of argument, the atheists are right, and there's no God, and this all happened by accident.
So
How do you get
primordial
justice?
ooze that got struck by lightning, and then boom, a little
Sure, all that,
sperm-looking thing came
all
out.
that scientifically proven stuff.
Rules,
Sure.
rules,
All
and
of it.
law. It wouldn't be instilled in us. Laws
It wouldn't be no.
Law
There would
wouldn't
be
be written on
nothing.
our hearts. The ants wouldn't collect in the winter and the summer.
But I would
the s-
argue
you know-
that you're doing something today that was not instilled in you. That's not a law. It's something that's cultural, or it's something that's It's the way that you wipe your butt, or it's the way that you cook a chicken, or something. You've learned it from somewhere. It's
How
a
did
cultural
you? Where did you learn to
wipe your butt.
kill a chicken?
Oh, kill a chicken. Sorry, my bad.
I,
Thought you're going the
I
other
learned to go to
direction.
the store and buy them. I
Yeah,
learned-
well, that's where chickens are.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
They're in the. They're
Have
in
you
the
heard
store.
his chicken
But
story?
listen, where
they're-
where did you learn it was okay to kill a chicken and eat it, and
'Cause I was
not okay to kill a man and eat him?
Well, because
I don't
they're-
think that was ever okay.
Well, that's not even a good comparison either,
Right,
because
it's
there was people eating people for thousands of years.
Who? Like
well, I don't know.
the
I mean,
disciples.
I don't know them by
The
name.
disciples were out eating people, and Jesus came along and was
No,
like,
but-
"Hey, you guys, let's eat fish."
But cannibalism is a
Stop
real
eating-
thing.
Right, but how many cultures or tribes are even doing that?
Not anymore. There's just only a handful, but
Oh, you think
know.
so? The world used to be filled with it.
the world used to be filled with more.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, sure.
Dude,
What?
are you talking about, bro? Serious. You guys are confusing me.
So all right, so let's
Okay.
so let's establish there's no God. All right, we're not establishing that. We believe in God, but let's say we're here by means of natural selection
With no moral law.
with no moral law.
chaos.
No.
Oh, it's not. I don't think. I
There's-
don't know if it's
there's no
chaos.
structure.
I think it is chaos
Where
because
would
there is
structure
no
come from?
structure.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
because it isn't built
I'm
in.
gonna give you the structure right now. You ready?
See,
No,
that's
I am
you.
not ready for
Then
your
Let me-
structure.
That, listen,
No. Wait,
it's-
time out. So,
I'm gonna lay some heavy. I'm
So-
gonna lay it heavy on you.
so
Watch.
let's
You
just-
wait.
If he gives a structure, he's God.
No, that's
Yeah.
not true.
Yes.
that is true because
is
it
true.
also works with the simulation theory.
I do.
Because what's going to happen with the simulation theory if there's nobody to cause the simulation?
Take it to its foundation, like we did with the economy in like episode 2 or whatever it was. Think about a society that's 100 people.
Okay.
Small. It's just
Small.
it's just 100 people.
Uh-huh.
There's no laws. There's nothing governing anybody. It's
Not even a conscience.
it's chaos,
Okay.
right? It's chaos. There's chicks being raped all over the place. There's people killing other people. There's all kinds of craziness happening until a group of very strong, very intimidating men rise up and subdue everybody and say, this is what we're going to do from now on. And they establish no killing, no taking somebody.
But why would they
But
do that?
How would
Because
they-
it's chaos. If we don't
They,
curb
but
this,
they wouldn't recognize it as chaos.
would.
They
They-
recognize it as life.
No, they go, hey, if this life continues the way it is with only 100 people, we've lost 5 people in the last week. Do the hard math. We're extinct in a month and a half
So they care.
you
Why do
know,
they care?
because they don't want to be extinct.
Why not?
It's still-
Extinction's bad.
Nah, that doesn't make sense.
It totally does make sense.
It does
Where
not
did
make
that
sense
come
to
So
me
from?
at
here's
all.
what it-
Where
so-
did that knowledge and that care come
Because
from?
they don't want to die.
From like, why would they care?
What is-
Because death? They don't want to die. Because
Why?
they're alive. They're existing now. Why
No,
would they want to die?
But there's no
Because
purpose
there's
in living.
Yeah, there's no. Why would they want to live?
No, Darwin hasn't even come around yet to tell them there's no purpose.
Well,
all
they're-
they know is there are 100 people in a garden surrounded by
You're saying
mud
there's-
and
but
weird
there's no
animals.
God.
Right. So why live in it?
Well, they're trying to live in it, but
But
everybody
why?
keeps
Are
killing
living.
everybody.
Good.
But why are they killing?
Well, because it's
It doesn't
why
matter.
not?
It
How do
doesn't-
you know they're killing?
It doesn't.
Because I just made it up.
It doesn't. That's his simulation.
But
There
this
you
is-
go.
no, this
They're
is-
still. But you're still
what
causing.
happens?
You're still causing it to happen.
What
They're-
happens at a very
You're putting a
found-
mind to it.
What happens at a very no, I'm not. At a
Yes,
very,
you are.
Yes,
it's
you
your
are.
mind.
No, I am
it's your
not.
idea.
It's so what happens at a very foundational level where a man or a group of men rise up and subdue everybody because who's gonna beat you at boxing, Josh?
How?
Right?
you
Nobody.
can-
So if you stand up and you go, "Hey, check this out. If I see you touch that girl over there again, I am going to knock your head off."
Yeah, but why
right?
is he
and
gonna
they're afraid.
care?
They're afraid of you. They don't know why they're afraid of you, right? Because they don't believe in it. They're just afraid of you because they don't want to die. So they say, "Okay, I'm going to listen to Josh. Josh is the man." And then they get, "Okay, we're all going to listen to Josh then." Josh then says, "Don't touch her. Don't touch any of the women unless they give you permission. Don't take anybody's stuff." And they lay out these rules. And if you don't listen to the rules, Josh is going to hurt you.
So
And they
then
don't
I'm
wa-
God.
And they don't want to be hurt. Now, fast forward now as this takes root and they're starting to work these rules and these laws into their little 100-person community. And now they're flourishing because they have rules and they have kids. And my kids now can live on a safe street in this little cul-de-sac without any fear of being raped by whoever down the street. So now they have structure because Josh gave it to us, and boom, 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 boom. Fast forward 100 years, 200, 300, or 1,000 years. Now the law is embedded in the culture. We just don't. Hey, how come you
No,
don't go
I don't
next
think
door
so.
and rape that girl?
Because
because we just don't do
if
that.
that
wanna
was
hear
the
it. I wanna
case,
hear
listen
his.
to this, because
All right.
Sodom and Gomorrah is a perfect picture of a godless society that it couldn't go on. It wasn't going to get better, and God said, I'm going to destroy it.
How did it get
The
to the
wi-
place it got to?
Even before
It was
that,
a big
just-
town, 2 big towns.
Even before that, what about the flood?
Yeah, what about the flood? The world was filled with violence.
Yeah, but
Nobody
these guys,
cared about the Lord.
But Sodom and Gomorrah weren't like a bunch of fruits hanging out in a yurt.
They were,
They were.
hey,
they,
give us your
this was a
daughter.
so- these
Give
were
us your.
These were
Hey, you have a
societies.
guest. You have a host. Bring him out so we can know him sexually.
Right,
Right?
but that's
A complete godless society.
but they functioned.
But they functioned, but they weren't going to get better.
But they must have functioned with some rules,
Wh-
which
What
are
kind of rules?
Which was, let me have sex with you.
which are, hey, if you
Total
want to
an-
be greeted into our community, come out here and let me do some nasty things to you.
That's
there was
gross.
no rules.
But it's still that's a rule.
So there's
That's not-
disease.
They made
so,
a rule,
So comes diseases.
and if you don't come out here and let us do the nasty to you, then you broke the law, and there must be judgment.
Okay, but who made that law? There had to be a
Some-
mind to make up that law.
Some king fruit,
So
king
I don't.
fruit.
I don't think it
like a
works.
big
If
apple.
there's no moral lawgiver, then there's no morals at all.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you. I'm just hypothesizing how you would get moral laws, how you get a
You-
moral structure in a society without God.
But you can't. You cannot do that without
think
a
I-
moral
I
lawgiver.
do-
Without a higher.
I do believe you, and I do agree.
Okay, but
I'm just saying that if you could, my way of what I just explained would be the way that you do it.
But that's what you think. That's what
No,
you think.
It's easy to you get 10 people in a
Listen.
room that are afraid of you. You
No.
make the rules,
no.
and then in 100 years, those are the rules.
No. No.
Yeah.
No, because everybody's living according to their own.
Doing what's right in their own eyes.
No,
Doing
they're
what's
not
right,
because
yeah.
they're afraid of you guys.
Why would I be afraid? Why would I be scary?
Because I don't want to die, and if I touch those
Okay, listen.
drugs
Listen,
on, if
look
I
at-
touch those
look-
drugs on Jared's plate, you're gonna smash my face.
Look, if you
Right,
go back
but
in
then
history,
you're gonna come back and stab me
I
to
like,
death.
No, I'm not.
Why
I
not?
like my face because I don't have the guts to do it.
all you have to do is just like
Why
you
not?
said.
I'm a low testosterone beta male. I don't know what I'm doing here.
But there's no care.
I'm just hoping you'll tell me
Look,
what to do
if
but
you-
there's no
tomorrow.
care in the world. There is no care in the world.
What?
You just
You're-
look, just like you
you
said.
bas-
Look at Noah's time.
What-
Look at
If
Noah's
there's
time.
if there's
you
no
go
if
back,
there's no moral law, if there's no morals,
What you guys have essentially done is say if you don't have a god, you don't have people with any personalities at all.
No, they
They're
have
just all-
personality.
they're just all robots, and the only thing they
They're
want
not
to do
robots.
is bang strangers and eat each other.
I didn't say eat each other. You did. Well,
so he's a, he,
if you
he-
look,
he
if you
agreed
look
with
at
you.
history, okay, what happened before the flood? The world was full of violence, and nobody cared about the things of the Lord.
and the Lord was sad, and because
He
and then-
was sad.
Right?
I
And
don't
what-
think-
and
does
what-
it say he was sad?
in a different translation, yeah.
And what
And
what
so-
did anybody care when Noah's building this boat and saying, "Hey, it's gonna rain"?
120 years he
judgment's-
built that boat.
Yeah.
Judgment's gonna
Big
be on the
boat,
earth.
dude.
Did anybody care?
Yeah,
Nobody
big boat.
cared. Nobody cared.
Nobody cared.
Nobody
No,
cared.
until the floods came. Then everybody cared.
I'm sure they still didn't care.
Tickets were sold out. Couldn't get on the boat.
No, there was a surplus of tickets.
So then
No.
was
Yeah, everybody could have gone in that boat, but they didn't
You're
want to.
tripping. You are tripping. Everybody could have gotten on that boat.
Really?
8 people were going to get on that boat.
well,
and
the other people
animals.
didn't want to. He tried to convince them.
Nah, they're not getting
Hey,
on a boat.
So was that judgment? Was that? Would you say
that
was
was
fair?
righteous judgment. That was fair.
I say anything God does is just.
Right.
I have a presupposition in my mind that anything God does is motivated by love and justice.
And righteousness.
So, and,
and
yeah,
righteousness.
yeah. Righteousness is related to
To
justice.
justice and mercy.
Right.
Mercy
So
is related to that
if God
too.
wants to wipe out everything he's created because it's rebelling against him, that's on him. He can do that if he wants. Like if I build a model car out of all the pieces that I construct myself and I decide I want to smash the car, it's my car. I
like
do
in
whatever I want.
Lego Masters.
Like Lego Masters.
Did you
I
see
built
that?
it, I'll smash it.
Did you see that?
Yeah, we watch it.
Yeah, that's cool, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, so if he wants to do it, he can. It's on him.
Mm-hmm.
And I trust that he is making the proper judgment
Right.
because
Yeah.
he created everything anyway. It's on him to. It's.
I would
you know,
not be able to make a proper judgment because I'm
No.
not God.
Mm-hmm.
No, you can.
But he gives
I
us.
can. He gives me the wisdom and the knowledge, especially at the time in need of it. But if it's just me thinking that without the Spirit of God, then hell no.
I mean, there is some justice innate in everybody, whether they believe in
Right.
God or not.
Eternity in our hearts.
It's eternity in their hearts, right? So the law is written on our hearts, so it's written on everybody's heart.
Right. So let's just say there's no person who created any laws, and it's not on our heart.
Again? We're gonna say that again.
Are we gonna go that? We're gonna go full circle.
Yeah, because I
So,
want.
okay, so let's
I
pretend
want to
you
get.
had-
I want to get
All
what
right.
you were trying to
So let me
say
try to
because
illustrate
it
it.
still does not make sense to
Let me
me.
try to
It
illustrate
won't,
it to
and
you.
it won't ever make sense.
Right.
Because
It will
there
never
is a
make
God.
sense because there's no
Because
moral
there is a God.
I get
law.
it. I get what happened here. Watch this.
Yeah. Okay.
I get what
Let's hear
happened.
it. Let's hear it.
100 was too big a number for you. I get it.
10.
Let's go down to 10.
No, I want two.
No, you can't have.
That's
all
easier.
right,
That's
two.
way easier. One
Okay,
man, one woman.
Two. I'm afraid to die for some reason, which I'm not allowed to tell you because if there's no God, I'm not allowed to be afraid for some reason, right? So I don't know why I'm here, right? But
Well, why would
So,
you?
like,
You
I'm
wouldn't
a-
even have emotion. Why
So,
would you have emotion?
why would I have emotion? There's no
Right.
God. There's
Yeah.
no emotion without God. I get it. Okay, fine. But let's pretend I'm sitting here with you. It's just you and me in this society. It would be a weird society. No chicks in this. No, I, don't
No,
like
I
this-
said
don't like
one
this
man and
example.
one woman.
All right. One man and one woman.
Yes.
Well, then you get to be the woman. I don't want to be the woman.
I'm not no woman.
I thought it was just you and me.
No, I'm saying
Oh. All right. So two people.
yes.
Doesn't even have to be you.
Doesn't even have to be you. Okay, you're right. That was my first thought. I don't know why
Oh.
you were thinking you and
I
me.
thought it was just us.
No.
I'm using me as an example.
No, don't
All right, so
use
you be
as
the
an-
girl.
No.
Okay. So so all right, so there's two people. One of them is me for some reason. I'm
And the other one is Carly.
absolutely okay, good, fine.
Right there.
So I'm absolutely afraid to die.
No,
you
you're
are?
not.
We have a society.
How do you know what afraid is?
How would you not know what afraid is?
You're never gonna get through this example.
if
I don't
you-
even know why we're trying.
If you stomp on my look, is there a such thing as pain without God?
Yeah.
Okay, so if it hurts, is it fair to then allude to the idea that if that hurts, something can hurt so bad that I wouldn't exist anymore?
But it doesn't matter.
What if you hit me on the
Because you're
chin
not-
really hard and you knock me out and I wake up and I think, oh my gosh, that could have been permanent. Right? So it's a learning moment. Right? So you knock me out, I wake up and I think, where was I for the last 10 minutes?
So your wife knocked you out.
Yeah, Carly knocked me out. She go, you were knocked out. Well, if that were permanent, then I'd be dead.
Uh-huh.
Right now I'm afraid to die.
Okay.
And I know now she can do that to me. So she says, hey, I got a rule. What's the rule? The rule is you do dishes after dinner,
And I won't knock you out.
and I won't knock you out. And so guess who does dishes after dinner?
Right, and then
Me.
from there
Okay,
on,
question.
Because I'm afraid.
Question.
all men
okay.
do dishes after
Even-
dinner.
even-
Right, in 100 years,
Yeah.
all men do dishes after dinner.
Right.
Why? Because now it's embedded into the culture.
That
This
they're
is what
gonna
we
get
thought.
knocked out.
Okay,
I get
even
it.
then.
Well, they don't even know it's knocked out anymore. They
Even-
just think it's something we do.
Right, unless
Even-
unless
even then,
the
I have a
story is told
question.
down the line.
Right.
Okay.
if there's no purpose in life and
well, the
since
purpose.
there's no God and when you die there's nothing in the end, why
Right.
be afraid to die?
because it hurts.
Well, you don't have to be
because he doesn't like the way it feels.
Yeah, you don't have
That's
to be afraid.
it? Just
to-
because you don't like the way it feels?
Yeah,
That
well,
doesn't make sense.
Well, you know, hey.
Well, that's what it
Yeah, I
would
don't
be.
like the way it feels.
That doesn't make
It's-
sense.
Well, if
to
you took
me.
an atheist and you said, "Hey, why don't you want to die?"
You know what? The way I think
Yeah,
is-
they take an atheist and ask him, why are you
The way-
afraid? Why don't
the-
you want to die?
yeah, I'm
They-
sure
they have no answer.
because it hurts.
Maybe it hurts. I don't.
I mean,
well, it's an unknown.
so instead of dominating, you're going to be afraid? Because if it's
Yeah.
survival of the fittest,
Oh, I'm not.
then
the fit-
wouldn't you
So
want
I'm
to
not-
dominate?
No,
I-
I'm not.
right.
So, but if I'm not the fittest,
So,
then
but
I'm the follower.
The way I think is like, oh, if that happens to me, I'm going to try to do it on that person.
but
And I'm going to make it a longer
You would be-
knockout.
You would because you're a high testosterone alpha male.
Right.
But I'm
and
not.
you're not.
I'm just a wuss, and I'll do whatever you tell me to do because I'm afraid.
All right,
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna dominate this.
Right? You're
I'm gonna
dominate.
dominate your world.
You're gonna dominate my world,
Dude,
and I'm
look,
gonna follow.
I like this
I'm
world.
gonna follow you because I'm afraid of you. And then in 100 years, my kids won't know why they're following your kids.
Right.
They'll just know that's what we do.
Oh,
But listen,
man.
most
And
people,
that's
most people don't really
What kind of
live-
life is that?
It's
live.
not a good life.
I wouldn't want to
Hey,
live
well,
in that.
no, me
I wouldn't
neither,
want to
but-
live.
This is
most
that's
people
how most
do-
people live.
don't live according to their belief. Most people do not live according to their belief. What
No,
they really
they don't.
believe. Because if I went up to someone and I said, "Hey, you know,
If I
look
went
at,
up to, oh, go ahead.
if someone came up to me and saw something that, a book, a mirror, like that stupid mirror that looks like a circle
like a
sun,
sun.
yeah, and they said, "Hey, where'd you get that?" And I said, "Oh, I brought home the pieces. My grandpa's grandpa brought home the pieces 200, 300 years ago, and we left them right here. And then after 300 years, that's how we got." They'd be like, "You're an idiot. That's not how that happened."
What are
Right?
you talking about?
I'm saying that's the
I
same.
know he's going somewhere.
I
with
know
that.
you-
Yeah.
it's
All right.
just like
Spontaneous.
if someone says, "Hey, oh, I believe that the world came from nothing, that it was spinning," da, da, da,
no,
da.
I get.
You know
was
what I
just
mean?
playing with
So
you,
I'm
yeah.
saying people really don't live according to their beliefs. It's the same with survival of the fittest. Most people that would say they believe that wouldn't live according to that. Most people that say they believe the world came from nothing, that it just so happened, they wouldn't live a belief according.
No,
they don't
that's
live a lifestyle according
no,
to that belief.
and
Right.
that's right because if they fully embrace the implications of their worldview, and they're not the strongest person in the room, then they're afraid.
Right.
And I can't be afraid. I'd rather everybody just be, have the same rules. The rules are you, Mr. High Testosterone Alpha Male, are not allowed to come and kill me.
Right.
Right?
Why
Because I
not?
can't because the law says not to.
Right.
Right? So now I believe in something else. I believe in a law.
Yeah.
But I don't
whatever it
believe
is.
in that.
A
I
mo-
believe in
Doesn't
survival
matter
of
now.
the fittest.
It doesn't matter. But so then my point stands, which is there's somebody in the room that's bigger than you
Yeah. And
that's
you're
going to execute justice, and it's called the government.
yeah.
Okay. But
And-
how?
For the same reason you won't go into a carpool lane by yourself is the same reason you're not going to hurt me now.
With God. Okay.
Because no,
Right. We're talking about God now. Okay. In this picture. Okay. Right. Right. No, totally. I
That was
agree
it.
with that.
yeah, because if there was no God, you would just ride in the carpool lane,
Right.
no problem,
Exactly.
no problem. But with God, carpool lane's off limits.
Right.
Now, if you and your wife are one, and you are the temple of the indwelling Holy Spirit, you are never quite alone, ever.
Not in the eyes of the law.
Oh, so we should ride in the
I'm
carpool
always
lane.
a carpool.
Not in the eyes of the law.
What's the law?
You guys have no
not the
conscience.
moral, not the moral
We
law.
do have a
The
conscience.
moral law.
I hold to the moral law. Don't
God-
murder people. Don't
Right.
check
The-
out other
doesn't-
people's
doesn't-
wives.
Doesn't the Bible say to obey?
It says, "Love the
laws
Lord
of
your
the
God,
land.
love your neighbor
I
as
hold to the
yourself."
Constitution.
I was-
There's nothing in it.
Obey
By
the laws of the
freeing
land.
up
I am the laws of the
the
land.
lanes
I am
and
the law
jumping
of
into the
land.
carpool
I am
lane
judge,
I was
jury,
helping traffic
and
flow.
executioner.
for my neighbor.
We're
So what
telling-
happens if you get in an accident in the carpool lane?
Well, that would be messed up.
Yeah, and you kill somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I
that'd be
didn't,
messed
though.
up.
Why would you kill somebody in the that carpool
Let's
lane?
just
to
say
save
Carpool
his life?
lane.
Okay,
lane's
let's just
flowing.
say this. Okay, you're in the carpool lane.
Yeah, that's manslaughter.
Your tire blows up. You get out of control.
Mm-hmm.
You flip over the median and you hit somebody on the opposite side, going the opposite direction of
Okay.
you.
Yeah.
You kill a
Then-
pregnant woman, and she has 2 kids in the back, and they all die, and you survive.
Man, that's
Yeah.
a lot of activity.
That's
Try
a-
proving that I was in the carpool lane at that moment.
Really?
Then
Yeah.
it's
There's-
obviously it's
There's
manslaughter.
10 witnesses and
Yeah,
10 different
you're-
cars.
You're responsible for that.
It looks like a lot of things happen.
How
in
would
that
you
scenario.
feel, Jared?
How would I feel if that
You would-
scenario happened? Well,
No.
hopefully
You
I'd be
wouldn't feel
dead
anything.
too. Yeah.
You'd be dead too.
Yeah.
No, I said you were the only one that survived. That's what I said.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, in that scenario, I'd probably feel pretty bad.
Right.
You know what I would say? I'd say, thank God I was in the carpool
Yeah.
lane, because had I been where those guys were,
Yeah.
I'd be dead right now.
Yeah.
But you're
Thank
the
you,
on-
Lord,
But
for
you
the
were the
carpool.
only one.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
sure.
What's the?
Excuses. So you're justifying yourself.
That's what this podcast is about.
That is evil.
This is
That's
about
right.
That is
justice.
bad.
I'm justifying myself.
Right.
That's
Which is
my own judge. I'm
right.
my own judge right now.
Well, then there you go.
That's
that
it.
just makes proof that there is no way that a
There's no real
civilization-
justice.
Right.
So basically, when you
According to your theory of two people living in one spot.
No, that's
in one-
completely different.
No, it's not, because you just said you're justifying yourself.
right, so you're
So
saying
now you're saying you're the moral lawgiver.
By saying what?
You're by saying no, it wasn't me. I was the other guy over there.
No, I didn't say I was the other guy. I was just saying thank God I was in the carpool lane.
Right, and then you killed a whole family.
Yeah, but not because I was in the carpool lane. I
Yeah,
killed the
you-
whole family because my tire blew out. Damn tire.
Right,
yeah.
but
I'm going to sue Costco.
I'm going to sue Costco for selling me bunk tires.
you shop at Costco.
Yes.
Have you been in there lately? Is there really
No.
no water and no toilet paper?
That's what I hear.
There
That's what
is
Jared
no
says.
toilet paper. I mean, water. I haven't seen the toilet paper thing, but we tried to buy water, and it was Becky went to 3 Costco's, no water.
That's crazy.
That's because disease is breaking it.
well,
guess
that's
so.
because of political mass hysteria or media mass hysteria.
No,
That's I don't, dude.
I'm all for it,
you-
man. I say don't shake hands with people who have coronavirus and you'll be all right.
right, but
And-
Don't breathe the air.
Now, isn't your
more
office in
don't
Corona?
breathe my air,
It is. My office is
Don't.
in Corona.
dude. Don't breathe my air, bro.
It's doing wonders for business.
You're
too.
too
Hey,
close to me, Jared.
Are
You're
you the
breathing my
Halo?
air.
Are you the Halo Home Services in Corona? That's weird. I know.
That's funny.
What can you do?
So
So-
basically, breaking the law is selfish, from what you're telling me.
Yeah,
So when we take it into our
On
own
purpose?
hands, we are being selfish.
yeah.
And so justice would be
What you
What-
get?
what
a
you
fine.
get.
And what would justice
Any
be
penalty.
actually for
The
that?
penalty.
So, a penalty. Yeah.
Whatever the penalty is.
The penalty is whatever's written on the sign.
$341 fine.
It's $341
Okay.
Yep.
divided by the 100 times that I've
But what
traveled in
about-
the carpool lane
But
by
what about the
myself.
people that have died?
That's $31.
What about the
I
my
don't
scenario?
know.
What about my
anything.
scenario of the
Yeah,
pregnant
that's-
woman dying
it's-
and
It
the
didn't
2
happen.
kids dying?
Didn't happen.
It didn't
the
happen.
$341 ticket, that did happen.
I just paid $3.40 every time I took the carpool lane, and I got to everywhere I needed to go faster.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
That's
Yeah.
so, but that's not moral law.
Right, that's the law of the land.
That's the law of the land.
which the Bible says to obey the laws
Oh,
of the
and
land.
if there was no God, then there would still be a law.
but
of
there
the
is.
land. There
I'm
would-
talking about now.
But if there weren't, then there would be a law of the land
How?
by you being stronger than me. This is going.
Right.
Boundaries.
Which I don't.
Order.
I don't think so, because if it's survival of the fittest, why would I want to back down from somebody who's stronger than me?
So just payment then for driving in the carpool lane is $341.
Mm-hmm.
That's justice.
Yeah. That's
yes,
justice.
that is justice.
If
yeah.
I drive in it again and get busted, $341.
I don't know.
Or is it
No,
double?
that's-
I don't know. I didn't find. I'm not gonna find out.
well, that's a second.
If that's a
second offense.
If it's a price I'm willing to pay,
Yeah. if
so
it's pricing.
therefore I paid to be in that lane.
Yeah.
So therefore, is that services rendered?
I'd rather just keep my money.
Well, it's
Well,
like.
you would, but I mean, I'd
Right.
rather get to work fast.
No, I'd rather just
Right.
keep my money.
Well, like.
I'd rather just leave earlier so I could get there on time so I can keep my money.
Let me
That's
ask you
'cause-
this. I'm gonna kind of change it.
Okay.
But
Right.
okay. OJ.
There you go, Jared.
Thank
You're
you.
changing
I'm
the
changing it,
subject.
baby.
I'm changing it.
OJ Simpson.
Yo.
Justice?
Justice.
Was it justice?
Yeah.
According
well, no.
to
What happened?
he got away.
He walked in on his wife
having
having an affair with her friend.
Without a God in the world, the court,
They were separated.
right.
Oh, they were already divorced.
they were already divorced. Oh, okay. So they're already
oh,
divorced.
so then that's not
so
justice.
let's pretend it wasn't
Yeah.
OJ. It was some other ex-football
Okay.
player who walked in on his current wife, banging the
I would plead.
the pool guy.
I will literally plead. What do you call it?
Insanity.
Insanity. Yeah.
But why would you have to?
Why?
Right? If I
Because-
walk home and
bec-
Sancho's riding my wife, and I go in there
Sancho's
and I
riding your
and I
That
smoke
doesn't make sense.
and I smoke these
So
guys.
who's the innie and the outie?
And if I smoke these guys, why am I to blame? Like, I should be able to go to court and they're going to say, okay, so tell us exactly what happened. And I'm going to say, well, I went home. I work 14-hour days. I'm trying to build a business. I go home and the wife, whom I love, whom I've given a wonderful life to, I think, is now sleeping with the pool boy.
Yeah, I would say.
And so what
I
did-
don't care.
And they're going to say, what did you do, sir? And I said,
Wow.
I went in the
Yeah.
kitchen. I grabbed
Yeah.
myself, I grabbed myself a couple dozen toothpicks or whatever. And I just I took them out.
With toothpicks.
So,
With
have you
toothpick.
ever seen that movie, A Time to Kill,
Yes,
Was
with
it-
Matthew McConaughey.
with Matthew
yes.
McConaughey?
Okay, yes.
Justice.
Tell me about it again. I remember seeing it. What was the?
So
We
Samuel
agreed too quickly.
Samuel Jackson,
Uh-huh.
you know, his daughter gets raped, can't have kids anymore, and so that's what the whole thing is about. Because then he killed the guy. the
You know
guy
what?
that raped the-
Whenever I see that, like somebody kills somebody for hurting their family, you walk in on your wife sleeping with somebody else, and then you like, I don't like, as maybe as wrong as it is, I go, "Pff, I don't care. Like, yeah,
I go, oh,
who
yeah.
wouldn't have that much fury, that much rage to kill that guy or the guy and his wife for, having to walk in and see that, or some guy rapes your daughter and then you blow up and
And
kill
somehow
him.
I have to be okay with that?
Like,
Okay, sure. I guess you'll just go to prison for a
Oh,
while.
yeah,
hell no.
I'm gonna say, you know what? I'm not glad that he did that. You know what I mean? So instead of that guy going to prison for 20 years or whatever, or possibly, oh, he didn't rape him, it was consent. Whatever it was. Hey,
Yeah.
he killed him. He got his vengeance. Even
It's
though
a wash.
Yeah, even though vengeance is the Lord's and all that, as a human with emotions, I can see it. I understand it. Wouldn't blame the guy at all.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Same.
Personally, I really wouldn't.
That's what I'm saying, man. If Sancho's hanging out at my house, Sancho's got to be prepared
Yeah.
to take a.
Oh yeah, yeah, for
He's
sure.
He's got to be prepared to take a bullet, dude. You came into my house.
Yeah,
I built this house.
Right.
You come into my house. You know what I mean? Come on.
the
be-
pool guy.
The pool
Yeah.
guy.
Dude,
the pool guy.
the
and then,
pool
and then
guy.
you want to just look at the wife and be like, babe, the pool guy? Really?
So I guess
Like, I get it. He's an entrepreneur. I get it.
But the
not
pool
sure
guy?
But the pool guy?
Hmm.
They ain't no good looking pool guys.
He's available.
Quit it.
He's available.
He's available.
But you're
But
not
that-
home. You're gone 14 hours a day.
Yeah, well, it's
Well, that don't.
what can you say?
That doesn't justify it.
You go, you know what? You're right.
Was
all
that
right, well,
justice for her
you
to
go-
think that way?
The justice is, yes, it's just for her to think that way. So you look at her and you go, good point, babe. Carry on.
Yeah,
And
right.
then you leave the house calmly, collectively. You get in your truck and you drive off.
Or drive the truck into the.
No.
Yeah.
Then you come home later and you pack your stuff and you go, babe, I'm good.
That makes sense too.
See if your $13 an hour pool guy can take care of you. All right? Have at it.
Mixed with your support.
Not mixed with my support.
Oh yeah, 9. We've been together 9 years, sucker.
Mm-mm.
California, I think it's 10 years.
It's 10 years, you get half, but
Yeah.
half of what?
I don't
Uh-huh.
know.
You want half of a termite company? All right, good.
Go
You
ahead.
got to work
Yeah.
in it.
No.
You got to answer phones.
Yeah, absolutely.
You answer
So-
phones. You go door to door, do some knocking.
Justice?
What? Yeah, I think. Look, I think justice is what the Code of Hammurabi says, and what the Old Testament says. It's
You reap
an
what
eye,
you
it's
sow.
an eye. It's an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth.
You reap what you sow.
which is not so much. If I cut out your eye, you get to cut out my eye.
That's why they had the Avenger of Blood.
It's the Avenger of Blood.
If you kill my brother,
If you lay in wait,
I am going to send my older brother to go and kill you.
right.
So you better find that city of refuge before I catch you.
That's assuming it was manslaughter. It was by accident,
right, exactly.
right? If you did it on purpose, yeah, die.
Right,
You run to whatever city you want to. If you did that thing on purpose, I'm gonna come get you.
right.
And that's- But the eye for an eye and the tooth for a tooth thing is not that you're gonna cut off somebody's hand. It's that the punishment's got to fit the crime.
right. There's a weight and scale.
There's a weight.
There's scale. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's not like, we were talking earlier, like when you talk about
It's like-
divine judgment and being condemned to hell. I don't know. I don't think you're going to go to this. Like, if you stole a Twinkie at a 7-Eleven when you were 12 years old and did nothing else after that, you're going to go to the same hell that
that a murderer is going to go to that.
that a
hasn't
Nazi's
repented.
at, or
right.
that
Hitler.
Hitler's at.
Or yeah.
Well, so
That's not. So we're appealing to the justice and the righteousness of God to say, hey, a Twinkie ain't gassing 1 million Jews. You know what I'm saying? Or 2 million Jews. How many ever?
but okay,
I
so
apologize
now,
think
for my lack of history.
Stealing is stealing now.
but
it's-
that's what I'm saying. You
yeah.
look at it and you go, okay, it's not really the crime. It's the not.
It's the heart.
It's not turning away from the sin. It's not accepting Jesus into your heart. And so, if you don't believe on what Jesus did on the cross, then the punishment is
Then you have to pay for your own sin.
Right.
separation from
Yeah,
God,
right.
Eternal separation from Him.
So justice is justice in the sense that if you break a law, you have to be held accountable for the payment of the penalty of that law.
Yes.
Right? No matter whether you're in the world or you're a Christian or you're a Jew or you're Muslim or whatever. If there's
Right.
a law and you break it, then justice has to be served. That justice doesn't go away. If you killed somebody 10 years ago or 20 years ago and you thought it's a cold case and they catch up with you in a hotel in Vegas and drag you off as an 80-year-old man, you're still guilty of killing that lady 20, 30 years ago or whatever it was.
And
Right.
that would be justice.
Absolutely.
And that's justice.
Yeah.
Right? So it never goes away.
right.
It's just what it is. Justice can't be negotiated technically unless you have a lot of money and you're trying to sway the government. But
mm-hmm.
but with God's justice, it's not like that.
Right.
So
He justifies you. He makes it just as if you'd never sinned.
He does do that when you so given that justice is something that we have to pay for. So whether you take a Twinkie or you gas a few million Jews, I don't want to discount it. There's a horrible thing, but gas you get Jews got gas. It's horrible. It's so anyway. So you want to gas some Jews or you're going to steal a Twinkie. They're two different things. I think the righteousness and the justice of God is going to say, all right, look, stealing a Twinkie ain't killing a ton of people.
I think the
So-
the person
so
that
like
But you
steals
still
still-
have to repent.
So
from
you
it.
still have you
Right.
have to pay for the stealing of
there's
that
still a
Twinkie.
consequence.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a
the
consequence
penalty
to it.
is the
Right.
same.
It
The-
may not be the eternal fire that the fallen angels are going to be in, but it's going to
Uh,
be some annoying neighborhood where you cry a lot.
But it's
you
still hell.
Right. So
it's
we
still
don't
hell,
know.
sure, because
And you're still separated
We don't
from
know
God.
if there's levels of hell or what, but we
Right.
know it's separation from God. It's hell. It's weeping. It's gnashing
Right.
of teeth. It's
If there's levels,
We have no
whatever, you're
idea.
still going to hell.
Now, I
You're
for
still
sure-
separated. What makes hell hell? Separation from God.
separation from His love. It's eternal conscious existence where there's weeping and gnashing of teeth, and there's memory and remorse for everything you've done wrong.
Right. And there's a way out, though.
And to the extent
before
that
you go.
to the extent that you have broken these laws and continue to heap up wrath upon yourself as you've gone through life, I think that decides what neighborhood you live in.
Right. And I think
Right? You're either
listen,
in the fire
the-
or you're in the outer
the
darkness. but it's still
chances
miserable.
of the guy who stole the Twinkie coming into a relationship with Jesus are probably 1,000,000 times more than Hitler, who said, I'm going to kill all these Jews, consciously did it, led this huge thing. He probably at the end of his life didn't think, man, that was wrong. Probably all the way to the end was
He
had
thought
that-
he was doing the whole thing.
Right.
the-
Sure.
Right. the
Yeah,
whole
he thought
time.
he was doing some right thing.
I'm sure he held that mindset to the end. The chances that he would repent and turn from that, I think that's, I mean,
That would-
not that he couldn't have, but I
Right.
think it's a lot less likely than a
That's a-
kid stealing a Twinkie.
Can I-
That's a deep darkness, bro. That'll
Can
smoke.
Yeah.
Can
that'll
I
smoke a whole people group.
can I
you know?
open up a can of worms right now?
How big?
How
How-
big a can?
how
It's
long
pretty
are
big.
these
It's a pretty.
worms?
It's pretty big because it's a question that a lot of people ask.
All right.
All right.
What about the person who has never had a chance of knowing God?
Oh, see,
See, now you're saying that God's arm is too short, but God says, hey, my arm's not too short. And he says, I'm a righteous judge. So you take, if you want to say, no, God's not righteous, his arm's too short that he can't reach that person, then go ahead. But if you read Isaiah,
Like a Tyrannosaurus
and,
Rex.
yeah, like your little
T-Rex.
T-Rex. Yeah. And that's another dinosaur I have a problem with. You're telling me that's the king
That's
of
a-
all dinosaurs?
that's a bad
and
design,
two
dude.
of
Yeah,
its
that's
arms
horrible.
it can't even use?
No wonder why.
completely
Became
hip heavy.
extinct.
Come on.
Yeah. But
Okay, go
anyway,
ahead.
back
Yeah,
to your question.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
Isaiah tells us his arm's not too short. Like when people say, oh, what about this tribe and blah, blah, blah land? And you're like, you know what? We're talking about you right now, your relationship with Jesus Christ, and you're trying to push it off on some tribe that you've never heard of that you think, but you talk to missionaries that go to those tribes, and you talk to people, and they talk about the dreams that those people have had and the visions and the people God has sent to those people. God is going to judge everybody righteously. And if you really had a heart for those tribes that you think never heard, then you can get saved and go talk to those tribes.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
you could
Great
do that.
answer. That's my answer.
You could do that.
That's totally my answer. But what about those people?
What about them?
What about what people? You're assuming God.
No,
hasn't
you're talking about the person that is asking the question, but I'm
Right,
talking
and I'm
about
saying-
the actual person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those people that you think they've never had the chance, but God tells us that He can reveal
Nature,
Himself.
God has
Nature
revealed
reveals Himself. Yeah,
yes.
His invisible attributes are clearly seen. God reveals Himself to everybody has a chance, and if for some reason they didn't have the chance, God is a righteous judge. He's not going to judge you on something you absolutely are clueless and had no idea about.
Right. So God's desire is for no one to perish but come to repentance. And He's going to reveal that in even nature.
Well, he's going to reveal a lot. Yeah, I mean, there's the general revelation of what he's created.
Right. General revelation, and there's a special revelation. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, look, that means people think, when we talk about heaven and hell, we talk about being saved and we talk about whatever, and then we're crazy Christians anyway. So we're, how are we, look, like you guys are perfect or you guys are whatever. You're like, no, it's, justice was still served for us. So that's the thing. Is like, when we talk about justice and righteousness and we talk about breaking the laws and there being punishment, we see in our world the same thing in our judicial system. It's if you ride in the carpool lane, there's a punishment if you're alone. If you steal something that's not yours, there's a punishment for that. There's always justice, and people are always seeking out justice. Justice has to be satisfied.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no different because that's how God is. He is a righteous judge.
Right.
And we've been made in His image and His likeness, and we've flooded this planet with people that are like Him in our inner being. We're just like Him, and so justice will be served. The difference for us is not that we believe that we're better than everybody or that we're not going to face judgment. Is that somebody stepped into the courtroom and took our punishment for us in the form of Christ. Form of Christ on the cross, took our sins, was buried, and rose again for our justification.
Amen.
So when we see the substitutionary death of Christ, we say justice was served.
But it can't be that
the
easy.
wrath of God was poured out on Christ on that cross, and when you set your heart and your mind on Him, and when you believe in Him only for salvation, you will be saved. There's no other name under heaven by which somebody can be saved.
So I don't have to be good? It can't be that easy.
There's no set. It is that.
if
That's
you
the grace
killed,
of God, right?
If you killed my son, whether it was an accident or on purpose, there's no work that you could do that would make me feel better. Like, oh, sweet, you mowed my lawn for the rest of my life. Oh, you gave me $1 million. Oh, there's
Right.
nothing you could do to take away that pain. There's nothing you could do to make it better, right? But in the eyes of the Lord, God would say, you believe in Him. There's no work you can do to add to it because there's nothing you can do to add to it. And He says, I forgive you. You're covered by His blood, and you're forgiven.
Your debt's been paid.
Your debt's been paid. Yeah. Your debt's been paid. You don't ask for forgiveness. You don't look to Jesus. Then you're going to suffer the consequence of that. Eternal life apart from God.
You can have
I could
have
open
your
up another can of worms
you
right
can
now, but
have-
I won't.
you can have your breaking of the law. You can have your breaking of the law. What is that? Oh, a tattoo on your finger?
Yeah.
Is that new?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
That's nice. So you can have the breaking of the law. You can pay for those crimes yourself. No problem. Like, God's not forcing you to trust His Son. You want to go into eternity paying for those sins yourself, that's on you.
And He respects it.
And He respects it. He's not
Yeah.
going to force you. You got to go to heaven. Or I'm
Yeah.
going to bring you in. He's just like, look, man, if you want the out,
It's there.
I've made arrangements for those sins to be washed away
Yeah.
and for you to be perfectly reconciled to me.
Amen. Yeah.
It's in the blood of my Son that I sent for your substitutionary atonement.
Mm-hmm.
Now you can receive that and believe it, or you can come into eternity and be accountable for your own sins.
Right.
Up to you.
Yeah, and that's justice.
And that's justice.
Mm-hmm.
That is total
Justice has to be served. There's nothing you can do about it.
Yep.
So what's that on your finger?
It's on my ring finger. So I
Okay.
die to my wife every day.
Okay, is that the symbolism? 'Cause
Yeah.
that looks like a scary ass tattoo on your
And
ring
then
finger.
what I'm gonna do is get my my flesh ripped open,
Okay.
and then
A tattoo
piece,
of
a
his
piece
flesh
of
ripped
bone,
open.
Yeah, of course.
bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh.
Flat blown. Yeah, that's right. And then yeah, nothing says freaking beautiful wedding ring like a
Skull.
torn open
Finger.
finger and a skull.
Amen.
That's all. You know what we need? We need a picture of that for the Instagram.
That'd be dope.
Yeah, dude. Throw it
Yeah.
up there. It's gonna be
Throw it.
great.
Throw it
Boom.
up.
You're just getting ink all the time, dude.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
jealous.
Yeah, you should be.
Yeah, people don't know. See, people don't see us 'cause it's a podcast, but
They will see.
Josh
us.
is all inked up.
I got a guy.
So are you?
I got a guy who listens to the podcast, and he's coming to the Friday night, and he's like, "Oh, is that the Josh from the podcast? Is Jake here?" And I'm like, "No.
Victory post.
then I-
Jake's leading worship Friday though.
Friday the 13th, 7
Booyah.
o'clock. Oh, nobody will know by the time this
nobody
comes
will
out.
know. I'll load this thing tomorrow.
Who's this
Yeah,
guy?
but maybe it'll by the time this comes out, you'll be there again.
I'm doing it in my old voice.
7 o'clock.
That would be great if you do it like that. I want to see that one.
Jesus, I come. Holding
So
my
what's your
hand.
you got your set list already?
Yeah, most of it.
Oh, okay.
I haven't played for a while, so I got probably 4 songs picked
You should
out.
come
I
by.
got
You
2
should
more I
come
got
by
to
on
run.
Thursday,
How's Carly
and
doing?
we'll
She's good.
jam.
No, I mean like with the singing and the set list.
Oh yeah, she's just gonna jump in whenever she's ready,
Nice.
and she doesn't see. There's a the funny thing is, 'cause your vocal muscle it's a muscle.
Oh yeah.
Like your whole throat's a muscle. You have to train it, like going to the gym. The way I train is I sing really loud in my truck when I'm driving down the street. You
Yeah.
know, I let it go. I got exercises. I'm breaking out exercises in traffic. You know, I'm doing all those things. Carly listens to the radio like really low, like this. I'm like, how do you sing to that? She's like, well, I don't. I just sing like this, really low. I'm like, it's not even stressing your voice out.
Right.
That's like me going to the gym and bench pressing like 15 pounds.
A bar,
It's
just a
not-
bar.
Just a. That looked funny on YouTube. No YouTube, but that's so. I have an advantage in that I drive a lot, so I scream a lot,
That's right. And you have employees, so you scream a lot.
and I have employees, which I'm very nice to.
Too nice to.
Sometimes,
Mm.
Yeah, sometimes, but they know when I'm not. They know when I'm not happy.
You're quiet. You get quiet.
No, it's in my face.
Oh, dude.
My face.
Is
I
that
can't.
the
I
face?
can't hide the emotions on
Is
my
that
face.
the
No,
face?
this face. No, this
Yeah.
is the happy podcasting face.
Too bad they can't see that happy podcast.
No,
face.
they get to see the happy face when hey, what's up? What's going on? Let's
You should put a picture up on that on Instagram.
what my happy podcasting face? My happy no, look, I try to come alongside all my, all the team members. I call them team members. I don't like the word employees, but that's what they are. But
I call them slaves.
you do? Yeah, that's
That's what I like
another
to
word.
call
That's
them.
why he has none.
That's another word for it.
That's why he
That's why I
has
don't have
none.
That's why he's got none.
Yes.
He's like, as a new slave of Paradigm Mechanical, how would you like to? I'm sorry. What? What was
We-
that?
Yeah, if you want to use that vernacular, you can, I guess.
Yeah, so if you want to work for Paradigm, what you need to do is you need to put your ear up against this post.
Doorpost.
And
This
driving
doorpost.
all.
And I'm going to drive it all through it, and then you're going to be mine forever. How's that
Right.
sound?
Mm,
Good.
Sounds pretty good.
How would you like
But-
to work on furnaces and AC units for the rest of your life?
Well, just as long as
Paradigm
I'm
Mechanical.
being taken
No
care of is all I
pay.
care about.
That's right. So that's right. So then, if for all your heating and air conditioning needs, you got to call Paradigm Mechanical, Southern California, 888.
And if you see
call
some weird
Jared.
guy
He's
nailed
just,
to a doorpost,
he's just a slave.
he's just a
He's
slave.
just a slave. Oh goodness gracious! You're all going to hell for that. No, I'm
But
just
no,
kidding.
listen,
no
there,
way you
there
wouldn't.
was a lot of laws against the master if he would abuse that slave.
Well, back then when they were talking about slaves, this is a whole nother
Are
topic.
we
Right,
talking
it is
about
a whole
slavery now, or
it
is
is
it-
a whole
We
other
should
topic,
probably-
but there was justice upon that.
Right. But the
Because
slave
if-
wasn't the same type of slave as today.
There were
Right,
rules.
there were rules.
They were
there
taken
was
care of. Like
regulations,
they
there
didn't
were-
have a place to live. They didn't have a job. They didn't have an income. You come to me. I got everything. I take care of you. You're benefits, your health, your whatever.
For 7 years.
I'm taking care of you. You want to be a slave, it because it was totally different. No, it's totally
Look,
different than
I owed you money.
Yeah.
I can't pay you.
Well, there was that too. There was the
Right.
you owe me money, you can't
But
pay
then there
me.
was the poor.
But then there was also
Sure.
like if I was poor and I needed a place to work, I'd go to you, the landowner, the whatever,
Right.
and
I'd rather just be a gleaner.
You throw up a cot for me or whatever. And then
yeah, you take care of me, you take care of
right.
my family.
Dude, I'm gleaning all your fields, bro.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I'm gonna leave all.
It
I'm gonna
wasn't
leave
like-
grapes.
it wasn't-
I'm gonna leave grapes out there.
It wasn't meant to be, hey, I take you from your hometown, I ship you to another place, and I sell you.
But
By your own
that's right,
people.
That's not
By
the-
your
that.
own people.
Right,
You're
by
getting
your
sold
By
own
my
by
own people. Yeah, that wasn't what God
Don't
had
eat too many of
intended.
the grapes, though. Man, you become incontinent. You just start crapping yourself everywhere. Don't leak. Don't leak on my property, sir.
I need to leak
Or
right now,
don't
guys.
leak around my
I
property.
need a leak right now.
I'm talking like when you got that leaky butt. You know,
Oh,
when you take
not
when you-
that kind.
With too many grapes.
Leaky.
I don't get that.
You haven't eaten enough grapes.
No, I've eaten a lot of grapes.
I think you should try some more. Double it up. See what
Mm.
happens.
I have a strong stomach,
Do you-
except
yeah,
when it
it's
comes to like rotten stuff, like Fear Factor style.
like kimchi.
Like no, I could eat kimchi,
Oh, okay.
but like 100-year-old eggs, the yolk is all like.
I don't even know how to
I
respond.
don't know how you justify that.
I don't know.
Yeah, you can't justify that.
I think you get in that neighborhood of weeping and gnashing of teeth when you eat 100-year-old egg.
Well, then don't go to Fear Factor.
No, I don't intend to. Hell no.
God, Madagascar hissing cockroaches.
Mm-mm. Cockroaches.
Cockroaches.
those damn hissing cockroaches. Alrighty, boys. There was justice. It's all served up on a plate for everybody to enjoy.
Love you guys.
Love ya.
Goodbye.
Goadcast.
You're back, you crazy little bastards.
Hey, goodbye now.